Blessings of Light. I'm Reverend Harrison Roy Heskett. When we begin the path, sometimes we do not know, for the path is windy, and we do not see the bends or the end. But as we travel the path, it becomes straight and narrow until we reach our goal. Sit back and intensify now your attention, concentration, observation into a meditative state and open to absorb blessings, blessings of light.
Blessings of light and welcome tonight. You've got a full room tonight. Beautiful. Let me get it. Tonight we're going to be talking about auras for your awareness, and we're going to do an exercise at the end of the class, a process to open your auric site, to activate it, to bring you aware of your auric awareness. In the seeing of auras, it comes from the inner field of consciousness. Auras have to be perceived. Perception is not the same as physical seeing. You have physical eyes that you look through. These physical eyes have tunnel vision, and they have two focus points. One is here, where you center on someone or an object, and the other is here when you're looking at peripheral vision, when you're looking at the whole room. Most people do not look in this way. They do not look at the whole picture. Like your hands, you put your hands out here and you notice your hands. You see both of your hands moving. And you get awareness of both of these hands moving. And this starts opening up your peripheral vision so that when you're looking, you're in a gaze. It's important that it's a gaze and not a stare. A gaze is relaxed seeing. A stare is concentrated looking. There's a difference. If you are staring or you're looking, it's aggressive and it's penetrating. So it penetrates through the field. If you're staring or looking, it is aggressive and it penetrates. But if you're seeing, that is passive. Seeing is passive, and you're aware then in a passive way, receiving. Looking is sending out. Seeing is magnetic and drawing in. Looking is electric. Seeing is magnetic. And so we are looking to have the gaze in consciousness. We're learning to gaze. Now, one way to learn to gaze and fix vision is to simply put your hand up in front of you, fix your consciousness on your hand, and when you move, keep looking at that spot. And as you learn to do this, at first you'll start finding yourself focusing back on something solid. But after a while, you'll be able to hold your gaze in a fixed point of consciousness, and you won't go all the way through the aura and fix on the physical. Because a lot of people look right through the aura to the physical. They get fixed on some feature of the individual rather than on the energy of the individual. So seeing is done by gazing, by relaxed awareness in the eyes and looking at the all rather than the singular. It's being one-pointed in the all instead of being one-pointed in the singular, you see. Instead of focusing on an object or focusing on like an eye, you start seeing all. You start looking at all the individual. And so you're looking in this way. But then you can, you see the difference. So here I'm looking at you, here I'm seeing. Here I'm looking at you, here I'm seeing. See, not fixed on the physical. Here I'm looking at you, here I'm seeing. Intensity too change. See, it looks at you like I'm looking at you. I'm seeing. See, and it makes the physical go a little out of focus. It's not as defined, and that's exactly right. That's exactly right. That experience. Instead of looking, I'm seeing. Instead of looking. looking. See, it's on fixing the gaze, on fixing the gaze. And you'll start getting subtle awarenesses as you do this. You'll start seeing a light. You may see something move out of the corner of your eye. And how many have seen that? How many saw like a little flash of that? Okay. Remember when you looked, it was gone? Okay, because as soon as you looked, you focused physically. And you lost your metaphysical sight, your altered vision, your extended vision. So as soon as you looked, it was gone because you looked right through it. It wasn't gone as far as it being there. It was gone from the perception of your awareness because of focus. Now, physical focus has this tunnel vision to it. And most people are running around in tunnel vision, you know. Some of them are really and they're really focused. Then other people are, a little more. But we have to get over this way of seeing in order to have perception in consciousness. Now you also have emotional eyes. You have a mental eye called the mind's eye. Remember when they said, oh, see how it's spelt in your mind's eye? When you were learning cat, and they said, well, see it in your mind's eye. Now that wasn't a picture, that was an awareness in your mind. It's different than a picture. It's different than visualization. Visualization would be seeing a picture. But in the mind's eye, you can go through a lot of different things that is different than seeing with the spiritual eye or the psychic eye or the creative eye. See, the psychic eye, the creative eye, the individual eye. When the eye is single, the body is filled with light. Have you heard that one? When the eye is single, the whole body is filled with light. That means when your eye is single, when you're not looking with two brains, but you're looking with one brain, you see, you're not looking inner and outer, you're looking at one, then you have the filling of light, perception. You become aware of the light, because the light is not hindered by inner or outer. This body does not hinder the light. And if you ever go into a real dark room, go into one that is pitch black as soon as you can. As soon as you leave this class tonight, find a closet or something. Go in there and just look in the closet. Just kind of look in the closet. Then close your eyes and kind of look inside. Pretty soon you'll notice that there's kind of a haze or there's a light or something inside. And when you open your eyes, it'll still be there because, see, there is no inner and outer to seeing. It is one single eye. It's one single eye. And so, first of all, we're getting you to see out. You're already seeing outward. So now we're seeking to get you to see inward. So you have total seeing. And that hinders more people from seeing the aura because they are trying to look at it with the physical eyes when it is seen in the eye of perception. Now, how does that work? What am I talking about? Here's a man standing over here. This is this picture here of a man standing over here. This image comes into the eye. From the man standing there, comes into the eye through the pupil. And the pupil opens or closes depending on the individual, not on the light. Little children, boy, can be bright daylight and they're there and their eyes, their pupils are real big because they're interested in what's going on. So it's interest that opens and closes the eye, not light. If you're interested, you'll know if you're watching somebody and if they're paying attention to you and they're interested in you, their eye pupil will be open more. If they're not, it tightens up and gets smaller. You see? So when you're talking to somebody from now on, look in their eye and see how their eye reacts to what you're saying. If they're interested, say something that you know they're interested in and watch them, how their eye is open. And then talk about something you know they're not interested in and then watch it. That way you'll have a direct experience and see how it works. That way you'll see how it works, see? But don't tell them you're doing this. They may get upset about you manipulating them. So that has nothing to do with light. It has to do with interest. And so you should be interested in seeing this auric field. You should have interest there. Interest is what keeps the will going, keeps desire motivating. If you're interested in something, you're willing to do it, your desire keeps you going there. And as soon as you lose interest, you don't desire to go there anymore and you're not willing to do it. You see? It's that simple. So interest is a key here. You have to be interested in seeing in this way. So it must be interesting to you. Well, here it comes through this hole, and that's what it is. It's a hole that opens and closes and lets the light in. There's a covering over that hole, a clear covering over that hole. Well, as it comes in, it turns upside down. It reverses. It turns upside down. It reverses and presents itself on the back of the eye. See? You're reflecting the light off the body, off this body, through this hole, the pupil, into the back of the eye, and there it is reflecting on the back of the eye. On the back of the eye, there is about 1 million of these little nerve endings. I don't know whoever counted them, but this is what they say. The medical doctors say there's 1 million. Maybe somebody said they're counted them all one day. I don't know. And these have rods and cones. The rods are shaped with a V shape. The cones are flat on the end. The cone-shaped nerves pick up light and dark, so that you have variation of light over the individual's body. And this kind of sight is activated like at night, where there are just shades of gray. In the moonlight, where you don't see the distinct color of cars or people's clothes and these kind of things, because you're getting these shades of gray. You see? So only these nerves are working. Now in color awareness, when this ray comes over and hits this nerve, instead of here just showing the light and the dark as the ray comes past and hits that nerve in that way, it splits the ray along the cone. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, gold, white. As it comes back, it'll stop on that part of the nerve, you see. The densest will stop out on the end of that nerve. The higher vibrations will go over the whole nerve, you see. This presents a electromagnetic vibration on the chemical substance in the nerves. This goes into the brain and releases an engram, a pattern in the brain. This then is radiated into electromagnetic currents or energy into the mind. The brain is the physical receiver of mind. The brain is the physical receiver of mind. And so, in the mind, which holds all things in form, in the filament of your mind, there, it's like plastic. It has an impression in that plastic. I'm just saying plastic. It's not made of plastic. It's plastic like you make an impression in soft plastic. It's like that. Or like Jello. But we don't want to make you Jello brains anyway. But it's clear like that. It's a substance, and it makes an impression in there, and it makes a form. Not a two-dimensional, but a three-dimensional form. You're looking at this form three-dimensionally. Now, when I'm looking with my eye and my mind, I can look at her back as well as her front. You see? And I can look with clothes or without clothes. I can look with skin or without skin. You see? I can look through the individual's outer appearance to look inside them. Because of the high vibration in here. It gives you an X-ray type vision. And healers use this to look in bodies to see if there's anything wrong in the individual's body. See? But if you have sexual fantasies, you'll never get past the skin. Because you'll get caught on the sensation in your nervous system, and next thing you know, you'll be skin touching skin instead of mind touching inside. The mind isn't bound by this room. You can send your mind to your room at home. You can send it any place you've been because you know that place. But you can't send it someplace that you don't know. You can't send it places that you're not aware of because you're not aware. You're unconscious of it, you see. And it has to be in consciousness before you have awareness. So here is this image in mind, and you are perceiving it in consciousness. Your consciousness is perceiving the awareness of the figure in the filament of the mind. That's how seeing takes effect. Well, in this filament of the mind, when it is clear, it picks up all the impressional tones of light on their different dimensions here. Not just physical being, because you were taught to see physically. But every one of you, when you were children, saw the light. And you start talking to children that are about 2 and 3 and 4 years old before they get deluded, and ask them, what color light do you see on that individual over there? And they'll start talking to you about light. I've done this. And kids will tell me what the aura is like on the individual, but they don't know what it is. But see, if you don't pay attention to something, it disappears from your universe. See, if you don't pay attention to it, if you don't give energy to it, it doesn't make any impression on you. You have no awareness of it. How many times have you drove down a street that you always drive down, and one day you see a house there that you didn't see before, and you go, wow, did they just build that? No, that's an old house. How come I didn't see that before? Look how big it is. Well, do you mean it just appeared? It wasn't there before? No, it was not in your awareness. How many times have you gone past somebody in a party, and you walk right past them, and all of a sudden you notice, oh, hi, I didn't notice you here. Oh, I've been here all the time. See, you were unaware of their vibrations. They could have held their aura in so that you didn't perceive them. Remember when you were playing hide and go seek, how you were very still, and sometimes you held your breath so they wouldn't find you, and they didn't find you. But then you went to find them, so you made a little sound or something. And boy, they're playing across the field. Next thing you know, they're looking right over there. Attention. See, you pay attention, they pay attention. What you pay attention in you, that's what other people pay attention in you. See, if you see your good self, then other people see your good self. If you have a problem, boy, everybody's going to see it. There are no secrets. But we play this game, secret game. Oh, I know they're going through some trouble, but I'll just ignore that and go over there and say, how are you doing today? It's nice, huh? And you ignore the problem you saw. And pretty soon you don't see it, but that doesn't mean the problem isn't there. It fell from your perception because you no longer give it energy. You may have bought a car, and for months you drove the car around, and all of a sudden you notice there's a switch there. Oh, well, what's that switch for? I never saw that switch before. Well, the switch didn't just magically appear. It was always there, but it wasn't in your realm of perception at that moment. I remember when I was 19 years old, an old man came in, and he had a 48 Buick. Now, I wasn't 19 in 48, but I was 19 in 50-something. Anyway. And one day, he was an old man, and he came up, and he said, I've been driving this car for a long time. He says, and I never want to ask anybody else because I didn't want to listen to him. And I'm going to ask you, what's this switch at the floor down here for? And I says, well, that turns your headlights up and down. He says, oh, no wonder I never use it. I never drive at night. He never drove his car at night. Up in the morning, drove to work, was home and parked the car before night. Before nighttime. Let's do this.
I'm pulling the switch.
Oh, okay.
And I do it tomorrow.
Okay. Sure. If you'd like to sit down, you can have a chair also. So, a lot of times we don't pay attention to things. This takes it out of our mind. We're not aware. So when I'm saying you are perceiving awareness in consciousness, you are perceiving awareness in consciousness to the degree of that awareness. Is it physical awareness, emotional awareness, mental awareness, psychic awareness, creative awareness, individual awareness, universal awareness, master conscious awareness, Christ conscious awareness, spirit awareness, God conscious awareness? How are you looking at the world? How are you seeing the world? From what point of view? And we're talking about what level the individual comes out of. They point to the chakra they covered up. In the aura, they start covering. Well, if they want to protect the physical, they sit there and protecting the physical. They cross off the root chakra. The vibrations, emotions, spin chakra. Oh, sorry.
All right.
I need to push your button. Will? Oh, he knew he was coming next. Don't know that. I come right to it, you see. I come right to it, you see. Will, here's the will center. See, emotions is over here or back here. You ever see a girl when she walks up to a fella, she'll go like this. She'll stand there with her hand over the back. It stops the vibrations in the root chakra. Or she covers up down here. Crosses her legs or something. You see? Spleen, emotions, will, over the navel, over the heart. You don't want anything to come into the heart. You don't want to, you ask somebody, what do you know? You know, can you tell me this? What do you know about this? And then you go like this. That's not receiving. How many times does somebody says, well, tell me what you know, and then they cover up their heart? You see? That's the knowing. That's the understanding. Say, I want to talk to you. And I go, oh, yeah? Right away, they're going to protect their knowledge. They're going to protect what they know. Because they think, oh, someone's going to change my mind. You see? Change what I know. Never done. Don't change my ideas. Ideas, you see? This deals with your higher abstract mind, your creativity. Creative people and people that have pointed at this level, when they're looking at you, they look at that part of the body too. They're superconscious, they look you in the eye. You see? Superconscious. Here at the brow, they're looking at you. If they don't want to see it, oh, I don't want to see that, they'll stand there and do this. One time I was working to open this man's third eye. He was a Christian, and he was putting a lot of things on me. Jesus said this, and Jesus said that, and Paul said this, and John said that, and Matthew said that. I says, what do you say? Oh, I'm not worthy to say anything. And I says, well, you send me somebody who's worthy. And I says, when they're worthy to tell me, then I'll listen to them. But I don't want to hear repetition and hearsay. I want to know what you are experiencing as an individual. Is that what you say? You see? Is that what you're saying? And all those thumpers, you know, those Bible thumpers and quoters of verse, and they're not only in the Christian religion. I got that from the Krishnas, those that are in the Hindu religion. They started, the Gita says this, the Gita says that. In the Buddhic teachings, it says this, it says that. In the Islamic teaching, it says the Quran says this, Quran says that. I said, what do you say? That's what is important. What are you putting into practice? Because if you can come from yourself, if that's what you're doing, then you have power. But if you're just passing words on, there's no power in it. It's empty. You see? And so I would say, what do you say? So I started confronting this man. Well, he didn't want to see me. So the first thing he did, he went like this. And so I says, I'll just keep talking to that superconscious center to him as an individual. But see, this is the individual level. So I started talking to him as an individual. And so he went like this. Then the next thing he did, he went up like this. And then he said back. And he sat back like that for about 20 minutes. So then I changed and went to his heart, and he went, lost his arm. And he kept going like this. So then I went to his stomach, and he says, what are you doing to me? I says, well, I'm giving you the dance of Amashante. You're changing the energy around in your body, you see. So he was going all over, you see. So you can talk to a center. How about those you start talking about God? You go, no, see, they don't want to get that God touch. No, don't change my opinion with God. How about psychics? They want to change it. They'll put their hand back here, the back of the psychic, the ultra center. Here at the back of the head. They'll cover that up. You see? Some of them. They move all over. They're covering everything up. I had, were you to the one class up there in Seattle? I was talking to, I started at the base chakra. Girl crossed her legs and crossed her side. The next thing you know, she was bent all the way over. And her head chakra was open, so I started talking about God, and she got up and left. I said, some people don't even want to hear about God. Look at this. She's going out the door here. And what happened, she had been a Catholic, and she left the Catholic religion. I was pushing all of her religious buttons on all levels. Went right up. See? Went right up to chakras. But not everybody did that. I mean, the rest of the group didn't do that. There was one woman. And she had actually physically bent over. She was laying on her lap. And then when I hit the top one, boy, she just jumped up out of that seat like something raised her up, and out the room she went. Left her friend sitting there. Got in her car and left. Boy, that was a complete repelling, you see. Well, in the aura, where is the individual looking at you? In the aura, that's where they're coming from. Where do they look in their aura? Where are they looking in their aura? You see? If they're physically orientated, they're looking down here in the aura. Physically orientated, here down. You see? They can't get their eyes off it. They just keep going that level, over and over and over again. When they're talking, that's where they're looking. They're standing around, they're walking down the street. They're looking down like this. Oh, okay, let's do that. You ever watch them? Right. And when I was a kid, I thought they were looking for money. So I started looking for money. Some of my brothers started looking for money. Started looking at my feet a lot. See? The next level, emotional energy. Are they looking at that part of their aura? Because, see, in the auric field, this is where the power of that energy is because of its vibration. The heavier energies are at the bottom of the aura, then they get lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter. Keep it up. Higher vibration towards the higher levels of their aura. It's that simple. Willful people that keep staring at your tummy. See? Tummy lookers. You see? How am I saying? More than navel lookers. No wonder you're covering that up, yeah? Then you've got those heartful beings. They're always looking at the chest or the heart area. Then you get those people that watch your mouth and your throat. You ever see those people? They watch everything you're saying. See blue-ray people looking there in your mouth. Watch it. Then those superconscious beings, they're up here looking at your eyes, your nose. They look at your eyes, your nose, right around your forehead, and they keep looking at you there. So, superconscious. Then you got those ones that are they're looking off someplace. They're in these higher fields. When somebody's talking from this higher field, they're going up like this. When somebody's talking about spirit or higher things, they're looking up like this. They're looking over the head, they're looking up higher. Some of them are concentrating like this when they talk to you. They go up like this. I had a master who was a spiritual Hindu master, or not a Hindu, Buddhist master, and when he talked to you, he'd go like this. And boy, pretty soon you were like, in my head I started feeling dizzy, like I was going to fall over. I felt like I was going to fall over backwards after being with him for a while. And pretty soon I realized what he was doing. Kept taking it up. Just start talking to some. If somebody doesn't want you to look at them, they'll go. They'll look off someplace and then they'll see if you're still looking. That helps. And they'll look over there and then you go. Looking over there and they're going. Checking you out, right? Don't want to get caught looking at each other. You ever walk down the street, if you look at somebody, what do? They throw the gaze off. They throw the look off. That's when I keep looking. You see more. Where are you picking up the information? If the individual's looking at this part of their aura, if you look at that part of your aura, you'll pick up the same information at the same time they do, before they say it. Because everything reflects in the mind before it comes out. Everything reflects in the mind before it comes out. The person thinks of it before they say it. There's some picture. Even an abstract thought has an abstract form that is seen in the mind. So before somebody says something, the picture is already there. So if you're at that point, you're picking it up. And a lot of times people would be thinking of a question. When I first started reading mental powers and got into my sympathetic nervous system, I started picking up their thoughts, and they'd ask the question, I turn around and answer it, and he says, I didn't ask you yet. This is what you were thinking, huh? Yes. And there was one point I couldn't tell the difference between when somebody said something to me physically and when they said something to me mentally, because I was so attuned to the sympathetic nervous system. When you get to the autonomic, if you want to see how people feel, start concentrating on your breath. You get more sensation in life. You see, because you go to the autonomic level, not the central nervous system, but the autonomic nervous system. As we are perceiving, it's all perception in the mind. The picture is made in the mind on the filament of the mind. And on the first day, God separated the darkness from the light. Do you know who Moses was? He was trained in Egypt, and he was trained in the mysteries. He was a mystic. He had the power of the mysteries. And that is an esoteric teaching, an inner teaching. When you close your eyes, you have to separate the darkness from the night. See? Inside. Day from night. The light from the darkness. That's the first movement. If you read the first 7 days of creation, you're doing the first 7 movements to open your third eye. That's an inner consciousness. Start looking at that inwardly. And so it's a key to the mysteries. It's a key to open up how to see as a mystic sees, how Moses saw. You see, how he saw the light, how he became aware of the light. When the eye is single, the whole body is filled with light. When both the inner world and the outer world's together. Now, how many times have you been doing something and wanting to do something else? That means your inner world is going one way, your outer world is going another way. You're not in harmony. Heaven and earth are not holding hands, as the Taoists say. Heaven and earth are not balanced. That's what the Taoists would say. They're not balanced at that point. They're out of harmony. If you're thinking one way and acting another, you're split. If you know one thing and you do another, you're split. You see? If you have an idea and you do something contrary to it, a split. Inner and outer world. When you're chanting inside and outside at the same time. That's when it has power. But if you're chanting, Om Mani Padme Hum, and thinking, what am I going to do later, what am I going to do later? You see? Split. You see? And a lot of people split their consciousness, the inner and outer consciousness. So it has to become one. That's the part of seeing, total seeing. Total seeing. Now, when we were up there, we activated Michael's seeing, right? His auric seeing. Wow, what a difference it made. Because by your light, you are known. By your light, you're known. By your light, you're known. What are you radiating out? You see? You don't want to go somebody who has a dark cloud hanging over their head. You see? That's literally. That's actually happening. You see? Dark spots on the aura will show negative energy in that area. If you're working on to heal somebody, you start gazing on your etheric aura. If they got dark spots anywhere in that etheric aura, it shows that there's something wrong there. It's not getting the light. The energy is not going there. You see? And I've been noticing how, as we've been teaching in this last week, how the auras are getting brighter. Ayus are brightening up. Ayus are getting lightening up. You know, you tell somebody, lighten up. You're too heavy. Lighten up. You know, that's a colloquialism on the street. I don't know if you've heard that, but, you know, hey, bro, lighten up. Well, we say those things, but do you know what it means? You see? You know what it means. The different color awareness. What is really happening there? So wherever the individual is looking in an aura, if you look in the same place, you'll pick up the same vibration. Now, you may not describe it exactly the same way if you're still in your personality and your own associations. But if you're selfless, you will describe it. You can talk and say the exact same words. The exact same words as they're saying them, you'll say them. Because you write merged. Merged. The heart, you merge. Merging is acceptance. You see. Are you totally accepting the individual? Because whatever you don't accept, that's how much you cut out. See? People don't know how much they cut out of their life. Oh, well, I don't accept this group. I don't accept that race. I don't accept this country. I don't accept that kind. I don't accept this. And that's blindness. Blindness. Spiritual blindness. It takes away the all-seeing eye. It takes the all-seeing away. Because everything you don't accept. Now, see, it isn't what goes in you that defiles you, it's what comes out. You ever hear that one? It isn't what goes in, it's what comes out. So you can be all accepting, but watch what you do. The way you respond, what you do in the world. That's where it counts. What your actions are. We can look at everything, but what we do is what matters. See? So all acceptance is wisdom. All acceptance is love. All acceptance is truth. So So you have the threefold flame here in your heart of love, truth, and wisdom, opening your heart, all accepting. As soon as you accept somebody totally, you'll see them totally. You see? You see? You see? Right? You see that when you're accepting somebody totally. But if you're not accepting certain things they do, you'll never see them do it. You'll start being awakened. But if you're fighting it in you, you're going to fight it in everybody. See, the only thing you can see in anybody else is what you got in you. If you see somebody, you're mad at somebody else because they got anger, it's because you're fighting anger in you. It's there. The seed has to be here for the reflection. You can only see what's in there. When you are clear in yourself, you see everything clear. You see? No opinions, no conclusions, no assumptions, no comparisons, no judgments. All intellectual. No opinions, no conclusions, no comparisons, no judgments. You see? Because it's all intellectual. Doesn't matter how you feel about it. Or what you would do. None of that matters if you are seeing clearly. You're desireless. You know what desireless is? You don't care if you live or die. You don't care if you eat or you don't eat. You don't care if it's day or night. There's no awareness of any selection at all. And that's the point of seeing. But in order to go someplace, you must have desire to move. You must have desire to eat. You must have it selected. So here you're not selecting, you're all accepting. You see? In order for you to see clearly, it must be this all accepting. Open heart, quiet mind. Take the ocean. You go into this cove. Here's a storm. The waves are crashing against the rocks. The sea is all up. Go down there with a bucket of water. You throw it in with everything else. Now you go back another day and it's nice and calm. You throw a bucket of water in, you see it splash. Some flies up in the air, ripples go out in all directions. Wow, you're seeing all the movement of it because it is still. And so in Zen meditation, once we were to meditate on the calm pool. And when the pool was calm, to see a drop fall into the pool. In my mind, I saw the crowning of the drop. You ever see the slow motion when a drop falls and all those little things come up like a crown? It jumps back up in the air and falls down and drops again. You see? In my mind, I saw that all. I saw it happen. Wow, that was beautiful. You see? But if your mind, the filament of your mind is all full of thoughts, all full of these opinions, conclusions, comparisons, judgments, feelings, knowing, oh, I know, all these fixations, then there is no clear seeing. It's only when the filament of the mind is clear, filled with spirit, clear, see. So it's consciousness perceiving awareness in mind. Because the mind is what holds things in form. Mind holds all things in form. You've got to give up the old habits. You've got to give up the old ways to be here, now, spontaneous. You can't be conditioned by anything you've ever done before. You have to be free. You've all been screaming for freedom. Well, throw off the chains that bind. Throw off all the things that are binding your mind so that it can be free. Be all accepting. Be free in your acceptance. How does these masters see so much? How do they know so much? How can we look into your life stream and see everything you've been doing? See your different time periods and see what you've been doing at different times in your life. How do we see those things? See, when the mind is clear, there is no limitations. It is boundless, infinite, eternal. But if it's fixed on an image, it's fixed on something, that's the limitation. See? Limitation is the first law of manifestation. Limitation is the first law of manifestation. Did you know that? Limitation is the first spiritual law of power, the first law of manifestation. God limited himself to a particular form, life, energy. He limited himself. Where did he get this to limit? Where did he get this? He gave of himself. He was the first selfless one. See? Selfishness is not godlike. Selflessness is godlike. You see? Oh, his mind start blowing up on you. You see? If you're just filled with spirit, you're going to blow up. You see? If you just get a bunch of spirit and you don't let it out, you're going to blow up. Because your form cannot hold the infinite. You can't put the ocean in this thimble here. If I said, go measure the ocean with this, that's how you're trying to measure your filament of your mind, your all-pervaded mind, with your intellect. The intellect is just a drop in the ocean of consciousness. And when you open up, your whole mind will open up. You will be all-pervasive energy. My grandmother practiced being everywhere. I'm looking at her, seeing everything. Oh, you want everything? Look for everything. Don't limit yourself. Limit will bring you that manifestation. As soon as you limit it, that manifestation will start coming into being. But what happens? You know you want to do something, you're limited to what you know, and then you start seeing all the alternatives. Breaks the law of limitation, starts expanding the energy till everything's possible. Everything is possible, and takes it to all possibility. You see, and so we keep saying, go into your white light, see the crystal, see the river flowing in, the clear river with all possibilities. All possibility. That's to get you unfixed. You see? That's to unfix you. Now, so you can be free to do what you want to do at the moment you want to do it. To be what you want to be, go where you want to go, see what you want to see. See, but first you have to be unfixed from all what you know. All the limitations of what you know, all the limitations of your individual experience, to have the all. See? Give it up to get it all. You ever heard that? You've got to give it all up to get it all. So you give up everything you've got. Surrender. I give it all up to the ocean. I'm just a wave on the ocean. I'm just a drop in the sea. Oh, how wonderful this can be. But the selfish, ego-centered person is saying, mine! What are you talking about? Now let me tell you a thing about giving up things. I was in Tahoe. I had a nice big house, my XK, my four-wheel drive, house full of antiques, coin collection. I had a position that I was authority over many men. I was a sous chef in Harrah's Resort Hotel in Lake Tahoe. I had other people under me. I had power. I had money. I had position. You see? I had a family. I had all these things, everything everybody else has. And I met this teacher. And I says, man, this is all that's on my mind. Every time I go to the desert, I want to go out in my four-wheel drive and have a little fun. I'm thinking about, is someone getting in the house and taking antiques? Is someone going to take my truck logs over on the other side of the hill while I'm over here? Is someone going to smash into my XKE? And boy, am I going to have to pay for that. He says, you got to give it all up. So I thought about it for a couple of weeks, and I says, okay, I'm going to do it. Quit my job. Went and told my wife, I says, okay, I want a divorce. I'll give you the house, I'll give you the car, I'll give you everything. I'll give it all up. So I gave everything away. I took $200, 6 change of clothes, in my little four-wheel drive, and down to San Francisco I go. I was on my way to Mexico. I decided, well, I'm going to give up this truck too. I'll just get a plane, fly down there. I know that you can get a mail plane, and it's cheaper to go by night, by the mail flight. And you can go at a quarter of the fare. So I'll go there and find out which one has one of those flights. So as I was going in the airport, my sister says, hey, here. His brochure says, Hawaii. Why don't you go to Hawaii? See? She says, why don't you go to Hawaii? And says, okay, I'll go to Hawaii. Good. So off to Hawaii I go. I got to Hawaii, and I met another teacher. I says, okay, I divorced my wife, I quit my job, I gave away my money, I'm over here, I don't have anything. I was told to give it all up. He says, oh, stupid. You could have had all of that. Just think of what good you could have did with all of that. He says, it's detachment. Either it has you or you have it. Either it has you or you have it. You can experience and have anything as long as it doesn't have you. As soon as it starts having you, get rid of it. As soon as you can't move without attachment to it, get rid of it. That's detachment. That's not giving all your money away. That's not giving everything up. You see? That's detachment. You see? That's detachment. That's the kind of detachment I'm talking about. You can have your jobs, you can have your home, you can have all these things, but be detached. Be an individual. Individual is detachment. Are you yelling for individuality? Well, who told you you're not an individual? Who told you what to do? Who tells you these things? Who's saying you have to do this or say that or feel this way or feel it? Who is that one telling you that? If it's not you, tell them, get out. Behind me. Out of me. Throw it out. Because unless this mind is clear, if it has fixations, what's going to be in your mind is these fixations, what you're attached to. You're thinking about your honey all the time. Is my honey going to be honeyed by somebody else? Then you start jumping from honey to honey, because the other honey has suspicions. Oh boy, what have you been doing while I haven't been around? Then in your mind you go through all these things, and you go and say, all right, what have you been doing? I haven't been doing nothing. I don't believe you. Because in your mind, oh, I got a clear picture. Who made up the picture? See? Didn't have detachment. Didn't have objectivity. Was attached. Was bound. The individual was bound to the image. So you have to give it up. You have to have a clear mind. A clear mind. That's what the meditation is about. That's what sitting there concentrating on your breath is to do. Clear your mind. Remember when he said concentrate on your breath going in and out your nose? Just concentrate on your breath going in and out of your nose. That's all you do is just concentrate on, well, what do I think? Just concentrate on your breath. Well, what do I feel? Concentrate on your breath. Well, what should I know at that time? I used to always say, well, what am I supposed to think? And he said, don't. And boy, the more I tried to stop thinking, the more I thought about stop thinking. You see? And that's as bad as thinking. Thinking about not thinking. You see? Because it's still thinking. You say, don't think of a white polar bear. No, don't think of a white polar bear. Don't think about not thinking about a white polar bear. White polar bear. Stop it. See how your mind keeps, as long as you keep bringing it up, it'll keep getting more vivid, more vivid, more vivid, more vivid. See, you're giving attention, you give the image power. Resist not evil. Don't resist. Don't resist. You see, God is irresistible. You see? Don't resist evil. It means don't give it energy. Don't try to push it away. Because the more you try to push it away, it's like trying to push the thought of the white polar bear out of your mind. See? Every time you say it, here it comes again, huh? There you go. That's the way it is. Don't precondition what you're going to see. If you hold certain actions in your consciousness, feelings in your consciousness, thinking in your consciousness, knowing in your consciousness, some idea, you have precognitive awareness, and you superimpose that over what you are looking at. No clear seeing. No clear seeing in that consciousness. There's no clear seeing there. There's no way you can see clearly. Because the eye of perception is the perceiver. Perception is the perceiver. And so consciousness perceives awareness. That's how the auras saw. That's how the auras see, I should say. In that manner. Not in some other state. Not in a mental state, not in an emotional state, not in an intellectual state, not in a creative state. If you're looking with a creative eye, you're looking at variations of color, variations of shades and depths and patterns, you see. That's the creative eye, seeing forms, shapes. It's an abstract level. I know a man that his name's Yassos. I'm with his tapes downstairs. And I had a good experience because I met him over on Maui. And we were at the beach. And he says, I'm here writing music. He says, do you want to come out with me today? I said, sure. So he goes out, we're walking along the beach, and he goes, he says, there it is, look at that song. So I went, what song? He says, there it is, see the waves. Look at that mountain singing. And so in his music, and he started writing the music that way. He says, nature gives it to me. He puts his microphone out the window so it'll go on, and puts a timer on his tape recorder. 4 o'clock in the morning, goes on. For 2 hours, he records the birds singing. Here's the whole bird song. So he puts it on the background of his tape. See? Put it in the background of his tape on Kona Jungle. See? And started working with the trees. Listen to his music. I wondered how he wrote it. How are you looking at things? What eye are you looking through? Not until your eye is single and clear do you see clearly. It's that simple. It is that simple. So this is advanced color awareness. This is the advance that we're talking about. Because how does that make you feel when you perceive that vibration? When you look at that color, what does it do to you? What do you think? What do you feel? How are you reacting to the color? When you're clear, in comes the vibration, then you have a clear way of perceiving, and you can perceive it on all different levels. See? When I read something, I go, take a picture, go inside. First thing it does is reverse. That's the first thing. It reverses. As soon as it goes in, it reverses. In the Moody Institute, down here in Turlock, they had an experiment. They made a pair of glasses, and when the individual put the glasses on, everything turned upside down and backwards. See, everything was upside down and backwards. These glasses with these mirrors on. At the end of 3 days, everything in his mind turned right side up and frontwards. Guess what happened when they took the glasses off after the experiment? So you wore them every waking moment. When they took them off, everything was upside down and backwards. And for 3 days, his physical eyes was seeing upside down and backwards, and then on the third day, they clicked back. Upside down and backwards. How are you used to looking at the world? Because you're getting a different point of view now, aren't you? You're beginning to see differently. Right? You're not seeing the same. The practice, that's the benefits, you see. It's not money in your pocket. It isn't that kind of thing. You see, it's spiritual powers within you. The spiritual powers are the subtlest of powers. The subtlest. The finest. They're not gross. And so this is not gross seeing. This is subtle seeing. Relaxed. Open. Gaze. Quiet heart. Quiet mind. Quiet emotions. Quiet actions. Being still.
being still. How long has it been since you've been someplace where it's still? And as we talk about still. Okay, any questions? Yes.
When you're talking about covering the body, I noticed that I tend to hunt forward. Just, I don't know if it's just bad posture or maybe I'm trying to cover my
When you were about 5, 6, right in there, you started getting hollow back. And some things you were doing wasn't being accepted by your parents. That's where it started. And so your reaction has come from that point. It's because of the hollering. And so you were covering up. See? I just told you I should pick that up. That's where it happened. That's what it happened. Yes.
One time when I was going to pick up the phone, I saw a bunch of blue lights, like fireflies.
Yeah.
Only I looked right at it, and it didn't go away.
Right.
It wasn't subtle either. I mean, it's real bright. What was that?
You were seeing, and your mind wasn't thinking at that moment. You were seeing it. And that's the energy from everything has an energy coming off of it. Everything has an aura. Everything. There's nothing that doesn't have an aura. That's the unseen side. That's the what they call the secret science. That's the esoteric power of it. That's the hidden side of it. And so you're just seeing the energy of it. And you may have seen accumulation of angels. Angels aren't beings with wings. I mean, anybody that believes that is believing the old Persian mythology. See, that comes from Persian mythology, angels with wings. Didn't you know that? Back in Persian media times, to depict the mystics, to depict a man's spirit could fly, they said, well, it's like, like having birds' wings, you can fly. You see? And now people's minds is conditioned when they see an angel, they see something with wings. A human with wings. Well, angels aren't humans. They don't have human bodies. They don't go to the bathroom. They don't eat. They don't breathe. They don't have to breathe. You see? They exist in light and energy, consciousness, God's consciousness. You see? And in one time they had an argument in the College of Cardinals in Rome. They were arguing whether there was 40,000 angels on the head of a pin or 20,000. Because have you ever seen those little specks of light flash in the room? Little tiny specks? How many see them? Little tiny specks. Okay. You're getting angels dropping energy into your aura. Comes out of the body of the archangel, comes down with its power. If you're calling for strength, the angel of strength comes and drops that energy in the aura field. Pretty soon you start seeing them as your clairvoyance awakens. They're like little specks of light. You just saw a group of angels. Yes, Ada.
When I'm relaxed, I'm outside, and I see the really sitting down, I see the aura on the stones and rocks and other things. Even on a rod, a small rod, I see them.
Because everything has an aura.
Yeah.
Everything has its aura.
But I can't see them people like I see them. Maybe I'm a little relaxed then.
You may be not relaxed for the people.
Yes,
Right. And another one, and the next time you go out in the daytime, look up towards the clouds and you'll notice that there's things moving through the air like clear little specks moving all around in there. And every now and then you'll see a bright flash or something like that. That's prana, life force. It's all over the planet. See the plants, photosynthesis, that, the animals, you breathe it, animals consume it, you see, everyone's consuming that life. Blessings of light